All right,
Do you want
John.
me to jump into it, or do you want to start a recording or something?
Yeah, it's already recording. I just was checking that. So
Okay.
you can count to three and then get started.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, I'm Allie Carty with ReliQuest. It's so nice to meet you, John.
Nice to meet you as well. Yeah, I'm John at DLL.
So glad that we're able to meet via Zoom today. Can you hear and see me okay?
Yeah, fantastic. How about me?
Yep, looking good. So John, after I connected with you on LinkedIn, I noticed that you graduated from Penn State. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's really cool. You know, I brought it up today because my cousin's actually starting his freshman year at Penn State this fall. How'd
Okay.
you like your time up there?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. The football games. I mean, it's not, ACC or SEC football, but we had fun up there.
That's good to hear. Yeah, it's reassuring. My cousin's very anxious, considering all of his classes are going to be online.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's nice to know that you had a good experience.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that the teachers that I had there, they were really great in the classroom. I'm thinking they'll probably translate well online as long as they're still there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. Yeah, I'll be sure to let him know that you had a great time. Now, John, it's my understanding that with DLL's current cybersecurity, keeping a big account in Australia called the Garvin account seems pretty risky. With ReliQuest, we can help you leverage the most out of your existing technology stack, such as your SIM, your EDR, and any other apps. Therefore, ReliQuest could help you keep that account and all the revenue associated with it. So with that being said, John, before we get started, is 15 minutes still okay with your schedule today?
Well, I got to tell you, look, I'm not a tech nerd or a security person. I'm a financial sales and services person.
Okay, so could you tell me more about that and a little bit about what your position does?
Well, here's the thing. I spoke to another security company and they lost me in the first 2 minutes with their jargon. So,
Okay,
I don't really know the first thing about a lot of this. And I'm just hoping that, whatever we discuss today will actually make some sense to me.
right, perfect, John. So I want to clarify that your concern here is the terminology and a little bit of the techie aspects that come with ReliQuest and our conversation today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I want to make you feel a little bit more comfortable with the material and make sure that if you do have any questions throughout our call, feel free to ask me anything about, I'll be sure not to use any acronyms or anything that could be too confusing. I understand you're an account manager, you don't work with the IT staff, so I think I'll try to make sure that I keep that in consideration throughout our call. Does that make you feel more comfortable moving forward?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Great. Okay, John. So 15 minutes is still okay,
Yes. Yeah.
correct? Okay. Yeah. So I noticed that if you're okay moving forward, would you feel comfortable if I ask you some questions about your perspective on what you're seeing from cybersecurity and a little bit about your Garvin account and just see where the conversation takes us?
Yeah,
Are you okay with that?
absolutely.
Awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and take some notes. If you hear me typing, I'm just making sure I can recall everything at the end of our call.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Perfect. So John, I noticed that it's just you today. Is there anyone else that you would like to include in the overall decision process when it comes to anything having to do with cybersecurity?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think Jeannie Broadwell needs to be involved.
Okay.
After that, I have no idea who in our company would really be involved in this sort of decision, but I know Jeannie's involved somehow because she's the one that told me we had to ditch Garvin.
Okay. I will be sure to take note of that.
I
And
heard you guys were getting sued.
could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, one of my coworkers said something about ReliQuest and y'all are facing some sort of lawsuit.
Oh, okay. Well, could you tell me the source of that information and a little bit more about what your concern is regarding that?
Well, I mean, I have no idea really what the source of it was. It's just one of my coworkers said he saw on the internet ReliQuest was getting sued, and I have no idea what it was even about. That's just what he mentioned. I didn't know if y'all were having any trouble.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely an alarming accusation, but headline and something to bring up today. I'm glad you brought it up. I want to assure you that that is nothing that we are dealing with currently. In fact, ReliQuest has seen a huge spike in customers and our clients. We've been very fortunate that during this pandemic, we seem to be creating a lot of new clients. I can assure you that we are not being sued right now, and that should not be anything that you should worry about moving forward with us. Does that make you feel a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, he could be completely off base. You know how that is. He got it off the internet.
Right, especially with everything going on in our country right now. So
Yeah.
I want to assure you we are not being sued, and if there is anything like that comes up, I will be sure to keep you updated on that. But are you comfortable continuing with our conversation today?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. If you don't know anything about it, that's a great sign.
Yep. Okay, so I asked you a little bit about who else is involved. Now,
Mhm.
if there were to be a change that would need to be made regarding your cybersecurity and the Garvin account, when would you want to make that change by?
I mean, for me, yesterday, because I don't want to lose Garvin.
Okay, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm gonna just as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So ultimately, if DLL and you choose to partner with a cybersecurity company, what do you think is most important when it comes to your cybersecurity needs?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't have the first clue.
Okay,
Like I said, I'm in sales.
right. So that would be more of an IT staff question. But for you personally, what do you hope to get from cybersecurity? Is it keeping the Garvin account? Is it just making sure that everything's running smoothly?
Yeah, I mean, that would be the thing for me, is to make sure we're as secure as we can be so that we don't have to ditch accounts like Garvin.
Awesome. Okay, John. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that with me. I'll make sure to take note of that. And your main priority here is discussing Garvin and kind of what comes with that and keeping that account, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so really with the world of Zoom today and online meetings, keeping your cybersecurity up to date seems to be very important. And we at ReliQuest have seen moving to a virtual environment has increased the number of threats detected. And it seems to be slowing some companies down. Have you seen any system downtime or a lot of threats going on when it comes to DLL cybersecurity?
I mean, I personally, I haven't seen downtime, and I haven't seen the threats because I'm not the tech person, but that's what they're telling me is going on. Exactly what's going on with Garvin. That they're saying there's a ton of threats coming in, and it's really stressing them out. And so, I mean, that's apparently what's happening, and they're blaming it on all of the Garvin employees that are working from home. At least that's
Right.
part of the story that they're telling me. So, yeah.
Right. Okay. So threat detection is something that they brought to your attention. Have they mentioned any numbers to you?
Not really, no.
Not really. Okay. So it's just mainly focusing, and they seem to be targeting that at the Garvin account. Is that correct?
Yeah, from what I've heard, there've been intrusion through Garvin employees accessing our DLL system, but that's all I know.
Okay. So that threat detection, I'm sure it's frustrating you. It's frustrating your IT team. Could you tell me a little bit more about some of the challenges that your company is facing because of this, and what they're frustrated about when it comes to this account?
I mean, the challenge for me is, keeping Garvin. Garvin originally had two pieces of equipment they were leasing worth about 200,000 each. Now all of a sudden they're spending millions, right? And all this research and development. And if they come up with the vaccine, they're going to want millions more. There's also other medical facilities as well that we're courting right now. And so I don't know if the company will take the tack that, no, we just can't, we can't risk this. And so that means, millions of financing just gets passed on. And I don't think that makes much sense for us. We got to be able to find a better solution to this than to just give up.
Right. I completely agree with you. So financing and that I'm sure that means a lot of profit for you and DLL as a company.
Mm-hmm.
So is it something that you want to focus on the growth of Garvin and kind of where they're going and the size of the account?
Yeah, I mean, and the growth of DLL. I mean, this is going to limit our growth, obviously. Commissions will be impacted, not only for me, but the other salespeople around me. And so nobody wants that, honestly.
Wow. Okay. So commissions are going to be impacted. Could you tell me a little bit about what that means for you and this economy and just your daily life?
I mean, it's not going to put me out, in on the streets or anything like that. But I have certain growth targets that they want me to hit, and it just seems unfair that I'm expected to continue hitting my targets this year when they are talking about removing one of my accounts completely.
Right. That makes
It's a
complete
large
sense.
and growing. It's a large and growing account right now. It was a
Right.
small one. I wouldn't have mind losing them 2 years ago if that was the issue. But right now, phew,
Right.
it was-
No, especially with the targets that you're trying to reach, I'm sure that it could really benefit you in reaching those, especially with the growth of that account.
yeah.
So I definitely agree with you on that. And what would it mean to you if if ReliQuest could provide you with the solution that would really ensure that you keep Garvin and hit those target accounts?
I mean, there's quite a bit of growth in that Garvin account. So I mean, that for me personally, that means a good chunk of commission, honestly. However, there are some other organizations I'm talking to in the medical industry right now, and I mean, we're talking about tripling or quadrupling that income for me if I can hit those accounts. However, I'm sure the medical community, like most industries, is a small industry. If word spreads that we dropped Garvin, I don't know that I could actually land those accounts. It's, oh yeah, you'll help us out and then drop us too. No, that won't work.
Right. So not only will it keep you from reaching targets, but your reputation will be really impacted by that.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So I'm not awesome, but I'm glad you're talking with me about this. So far what I've kind of gathered is with all this threat detection, they seem to be blaming the Garvin account.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you were able to reduce the threat detection, what would that mean to you and DLL?
Well, I mean, if we could reduce the threat detection, I know our security people would be a lot happier. They've been going crazy.
Okay, so it would probably reduce employee turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. So between threat detection and the growth of DLL, is there anything else that you really want to talk to me about today regarding DLL's current cybersecurity and some of your needs moving forward with the Garvin account?
Really, I just need enough information from you to convince our ISO, Jeannie Broadwell, to meet with you guys.
Okay. Okay, so would you like for me to go into a little bit of a presentation about a little bit about what we could bring and the value that ReliQuest could provide for DLL?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't use too many techie terms.
Right. So I'll go ahead, I'll break it down for you so you can go to Jeannie and provide her with the information that you've received from today, and we could potentially set up another meeting. How does that sound?
That does sound good. I do like the sound of that. DLL is the world's leading, and we're the world's largest leasing company, and we're over 30 countries. How does ReliQuest compare to something like that?
Okay, so your concern here is, could you tell me a little bit more about that concern?
Yeah, I mean, can you handle a company of our size? I mean, we're 50 billion in revenue. I don't really know how big you guys are, but can you handle a company that's spread out over 30 countries all over the world like DLL?
Right. So the concern here is the size of our company and whether or not we can handle a company that's creating $50 billion in revenue. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, John, I really want to assure you that ReliQuest is the perfect company to handle this. We're juggling big companies such as Campbell's and the Celtics. And, there's big companies out there that I've been able to personally see our company work with. And although we are handling a lot of clients, we do pride ourselves in our ability to give each of our clients that one-on-one experience. So I do want to assure you that that your growth we will grow with you. Does that make you feel a bit more comfortable moving forward?
Yeah. I didn't realize y'all had such big accounts. That's nice.
Right. And in the presentation I'm about to show you, I would be happy to show you the article about the Celtics and potentially send that over to you so you can share with Jeannie.
Sure.
Great. Okay, so I really think that ReliQuest can help with some of your concerns that we've discussed today. I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you so you can see exactly what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Okay. Let me. I don't know if it's letting me screen share.
Oh, no problem. I think I started this meeting. I could probably do that for you.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah, you should be able to do it now.
Okay. All right, can you see what I'm looking at? It should be 2 circles.
Yep. That's not my
Awesome.
screen. I'm guessing that's yours.
Yep. Okay, so, oh, it's not letting me move. Okay, so if you're okay with me going ahead and just writing down some of the concerns that we talked about today, so at the end of the meeting, as we reach a conclusion about it, we can go ahead and cross it off. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds fine.
So the first thing that you brought to my attention was the threat detection that your company was facing because of the growth of the Garvin account.
Mhm.
And then the next concern that we brought up was the growth of DLL. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean,
And making sure that you're growing with the company and you're hitting your targets.
mhm, mhm.
Now, the third concern I think it was mainly making sure that we could get Jeannie on the call.
Mhm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so between all of these things, I want to start off with threat detection. And I'm going to break it down into some simple numbers so you can see kind of where ReliQuest can really provide value to DLL. So we use what's called gray matter. And here's a little bit about gray matter. And it basically is it's the first platform that connects disparate enterprise technologies to provide comprehensive automated visibility and response capabilities across enterprise's entire environment. Basically, how I like to break it down is there's all these parts of a boat. There's the body, the engine, the steering wheel, and gray matter just puts it all together. Does that make sense to you?
Sort of. I mean, it's,
It basically is the seal that holds all of the technologies together to ensure that it's performing to the best of its capabilities.
gotcha. Okay, so like a seal to plug up all the cracks.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
And so with gray matter, we've been able to improve our threat detection by 400%. And I think for DLL, that would be a great big number. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So are you okay if I go ahead and cross threat detection off of our list? You should be able to tell Jeannie that should be something that you guys could really reduce, and it should really encourage her to get into a meeting with me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to go ahead and just cross it off of our list. Ooh, that's not a very thick line. There we go. So threat detection is no longer an issue. No, the growth of DLL. I really want to focus on gray matter again. And I think between all of these gray matter capabilities, you'll be able to find reassurance that we're going to be able to grow with you and be able to really keep the focus on your Garvin account and be able to grow with DLL. So we're able to detect all of those threats and make sure you're not facing any system downtime. So does that make you feel more comfortable with the growth of DL and us growing with you?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like it makes sense. I guess my main thing is to not drop accounts because we're too busy fighting cybercrime,
Right. Well, with the gray matter, we're able to verify, investigate, automate, and just detect all of the suspicious activity so that none of those accounts would get hacked and no information would be leaked.
Sure, that makes sense.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and cross growth off of our list of concerns.
Okay.
And
I
lastly,
have another meeting coming up very shortly, so.
Okay. So the last part I want to talk about is Jeannie's input and making sure that we can get her into the office today. So, or not today, soon, but into the Zoom calls. So what would it mean to you if we could go ahead and just schedule another meeting with Jeannie, make sure that she can jump on board and we can really get this process started?
Yeah, I mean, that would be beautiful. That's what I would love to see. And Jeannie getting on board and moving forward with the work
Great.
request.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cross this off of our list of concerns. And so the next step would be scheduling a future meeting with you and Jeannie. And, I'd be happy to take the initiative and schedule a meeting with her. And then if you want to tell me a time that you're free next week, I'll be sure to reach out to her and make sure that we can get that meeting scheduled.
Yeah, that sounds
Are
good.
you available, let's say, next Wednesday, the afternoon?
Wednesday afternoon, I actually have a call with a client.
Okay, how about Thursday afternoon?
Thursday afternoon, I think I'm free after 2.
Okay, so how about we do Thursday at 2:30 p.m.?
Okay.
All right, John. Well, I will send you the calendar invite. I'll make sure there's no issues with Jeannie, and I'll be sure to get back with you.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, thank you for your time today.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.